Hello beautiful people from YouTube, and welcome to this video where we are rounding up 4 months post hip surgery. I really wish that I had my positive and cheerful attitude and my smile for this one, but it's been really tough. I feel like this month has smashed me against the wall and then thrown me off the 10th floor, and I'm still recovering from it. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's start in the beginning. We made it to 16 weeks! Yay! Week 16! It's crazy how time passes by when you are having fun, I guess, or just waiting for time to go by and your hip to heal. So welcome to week 16, which is a week that started not super eventful. It was raining for like 5 years in a row, so I couldn't really 5 days in a row. So I couldn't really do much. It was very annoying. I couldn't walk the dog. We couldn't go to the park. I was just doing my physical therapy exercises in the house or in the gym. I started working on my stretching a little bit more, on my ankle strength with the bustle ball. I started feeling a little bit uncomfortable, probably 4 days into week 16. My hip was a little bit sore, but what started happening was that the other hip was acting up. I had probably 3 or 4 circumstances in between those days in which I felt like this hip was just letting me know that it's there. So for example, I was talking on the phone and suddenly just felt like a very acute pain, kind of like here. A couple of times the pain was around here. There was another pain here a little bit, kind of like it got stuck. So I was a little bit concerned about that. The other thing that I was feeling on the surgical leg was also some sort of like burning, not muscle burning, fire burning, and just feeling uncomfortable. So I went in with those symptoms to physical therapy, and this is what happened. Today is a particularly hard day. It's 15 weeks and a half, and I am pretty sore. I have an acute pain in the hip with a little bit of burning, but like not muscle burning, but like actual fire burning. And doing some of my physical therapy exercises was a little bit painful, and we avoided running today, and I'm gonna rest for the rest of the week. Still doing some physical therapy exercises, but the very, very basics. My PT says that it's normal that right now something acts up because my left hip, which is the non-surgical one, is also, a little bit weird and with some pain. So he said that at this point it's normal to like have something like this because we have started adding more weight and more intensity and we're just demanding more from the muscles. So he says that it's normal, and I believe it, and I have seen progress and everything, but it's just difficult to, like convince your mind that you're okay, and that the fact that it's hurting right now doesn't mean that I am gonna have a setback or that I am gonna get worse. It's just a little bit of pain, and I just need to rest and just trust the process, but I guess I can't help but think about the worst case scenario. It's scary, so just wanted to also document this part of the recovery because it's real and it's what can happen. So just trying to use the rational part of my brain to convince me that I need to listen to what my physical therapist says. He's not concerned, and just move on. Yeah. It's been 3 days since that video. I did physical therapy exercises the day after, and then I took a break. So I haven't done exercises for 2 days, and it feels really weird because it's the first time that I haven't done any PT exercises whatsoever. It's very weird. I am supposed to do the exercises that I was doing in phase 2, like the bed exercises. Haven't done them yet, but it just feels weird because I haven't missed a single day of doing exercise. And I had an eye procedure, and that's why I'm taking a break. I'm hoping to be better with the eye to go back to physical therapy soon and get back to where we were. My physical therapist is also hoping that this break will help the hip to just feel better, to not be irritated anymore. I don't know, it feels a little bit weird, like it's still sore. When I walk, it hurts. I haven't been doing a lot of walking, but sitting hurts, walking hurts. This groin also is not super happy. So it's been a little bit of a complicated week, honestly. It's been very frustrating. It started with the hip being sore. It ended with me having this eye surgery. And that really puts things in perspective, because you really miss the days when you were 100% healthy. I've been feeling this pain with my hip for over 8 months right now, and like I'm getting better there, and then I have now this eye procedure, and it just makes you value health so much more. And I know that everybody says that health is the most important thing, but I don't think we really accept that or see it through those lenses until we don't have it. So these past days have been very difficult, going into this eye surgery, which was definitely less impactful and more minor procedure than the major thing that the hip surgery was still pretty tough on my mental health. When I was in the pre-op and they were monitoring my heart and I got the IV and everything, I was just remembering, I had flashbacks from the day of the surgery, which also like triggered me to be very scared, because I don't want to have surgery on the other side. I just want to get better. It's been rough. It's been rough, and I cannot cry because then the eye gets upset. So just trying to stay positive, stay strong. It's part of life. It's part of the recovery. Well, not the eye, but like, the uncomfortableness that I am having here in the hip area. There isn't really anything else that I can do besides being strong and keep moving forward, and also validating my feelings. Like it sucks. It does suck a lot. But I've made it so far, and I'm sure that all of us have these moments in our recovery that are downs. But what someone told me was that as long as the positive days are more, the bad days shouldn't be that scary, because it means that overall the progress is still going up. It's not linear. It's never going to be linear. It's going to be good. It's going to be bad. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very easy. And as long as in the bigger picture we're still climbing, I guess that's what I can expect and be grateful for. So this is week 16. We're getting close to 4 months. We'll see what this week has to offer. Healing my eye, healing the hip, and hopefully I can report back with better news. Week 17 started with me basically resting because of my eye surgery. I spent most of the time on the couch or laying on the bed, trying not to force my body because I wanted the eye to heal. And I was expecting that if I was not really working out or even moving much, my hip would start feeling better. And that was not the case. 2 days after the eye surgery, my right hip, the surgical hip, was still giving me this pain very similar to before the surgery. And the left hip was acting up. I started feeling also pain in my groin, and it wasn't really constant as the other side was. Trying to see the positive, I realized that the hip hasn't gotten stuck, like I hadn't need to pop it in a long time, and I guess that's great. I think it's been 2 weeks since the last time that the hip popped. So, I was trying to fill myself with positive thoughts and try to move along. It was definitely tough because my eye wasn't feeling great, my hip wasn't feeling great, I was just not feeling healthy. And when you don't have something you really wanted and you really value what you have, so I guess just a combination of everything brought me down during that week, plus the constant reminder that my hip was in pain every time that I walked. And when I started walking my dog, I would feel pain with every single step. So with this recovery, I have started to learn to use more words to define pain. So achy, sore, stiff, acute, dull. So I guess I would call this kind of an achy pain. I definitely don't think that it was muscle soreness, but it was more of an ache. And again, very similar pain to before the surgery. And that very much scared me. So I went in with all these symptoms to physical therapy, and I completely lost it there because I am very scared. Another physical therapy session that I guess went okay. I'm just very scared, and lately it's
been a lot of that because my two hips hurt in different ways. So, I just think that having gone through the surgery and the injury and everything, you really worry when something hurts, and I tend to make things catastrophic sometimes. So, I'm just concerned about the other hip, and I don't want to have surgery in the other hip for sure. And the surgical hip is sore, and I think it is really just muscle, because I feel like my whole body is just very stiff. My physical therapist says that this is a hiccup and that it will get better. We did different exercises today, more like the table exercises. We still skipped running, and he is very calm, so I think that's a good sign. It's just me, I feel like I have cried in that physical therapy so many times. And today I couldn't stop, I kept crying on the table, and those times that something just triggers you and you keep crying. I really hope that this gets better. Everything gets better.
During this week with the pain, the reminder of what a surgery is, and my other hip acting up, I have realized that I live with a lot of fear right now. And I think that might be normal because going through this is not a joke. It's a major surgery and it's rough. It is really tough. And I don't want it again. I don't want to have surgery on the other side. Of course, if I ended up needing it, I guess I'm gonna have to go through this all over again. But I definitely don't want to. So I am realizing that this fear that I have in my body is making every small sign of pain worse. The moment that I feel like something is bothering me in the other hip, I completely lose control and I get super freaked out when the other hip doesn't heal. I thought that since I wasn't doing any activity, then the hip wouldn't hurt. But then it keeps hurting, so that completely trickles down into you thinking the worst case scenario. And that has been this week for me. It has been definitely super, super, super rough. I have discovered this fear that I have, and I am learning how to deal with all of this. I really thought that this recovery was gonna start hard and get easier with time, but the way that I have lived it is the opposite. I don't dismiss the first month. It's super difficult. However, the way that I see it is that the expectations in the first month are low. Pulling your pants up, being able to go to the bathroom by yourself, going in and out of the shower, and eventually ditching the crutches, all of those things are milestones that keep you going, and you see them happening very frequently. But then the rest of the months, the milestones or the progress spaces out, and it's difficult to see how your progress line is going. And I also believe that at this point, I have way more expectations, way higher expectations to reach. And if I don't reach them, then I feel worse, or I feel worried, or I am afraid. So I do believe that this has gotten tougher with every month. I guess they say it gets worse before it gets better, and that's what I have been repeating myself every single day of this week. Definitely hoping that it got as worse as it's gonna get. So it's gonna start getting better, because it's been a very rough time. I spent a full day just crying. I was a crying machine, and it was tough for me to even control myself. I was feeling really worried and very down, and I understand that some people would criticize that and be like, oh, don't cry because that's gonna make you worse. But at least for me, crying works. And actually, after crying all day, I could feel better the next day. And you can see me also talking about this right now without breaking down, because I guess I already cried it out. And I believe that during those times when you feel so low, you need to be surrounded by a community of people that understand what you're going through. In my case, I was super lucky, and I don't know, call it magic, call it God, call it energy, call it however you want to call it, depending on your beliefs. But there was some of that past 3 days where so many people reached out to ask how I was doing. And there were some people that were even so specific with their concern that I was mind blown. And for a second, I thought that my mom might have told them or something, but none of them had spoken with her. So I guess it was just life sending me help to know that I have a support system that is there for me, and some empathy and comfort. And I really appreciate that. I feel very happy and also very blessed to have those people around. So I believe that if you are going through this, it is helpful to have someone to talk this out, or just someone to listen, because maybe they don't understand what you're going through. They actually don't. But just having someone to listen or to support you it's important. And if you feel like nobody understands where you're coming from, leave a comment here and I will understand what you're going through. You're not alone. You're definitely not alone. It gets really challenging. Don't be too hard on yourself, and that's what I am repeating to myself as well. The other thing that was very interesting was that with all this stress and fear, I guess my body was just so tense that my muscles were super contracted. I couldn't bend to put my shoes on without feeling like my muscles were stretching their soul out. It was insane. The very tiny bend would fire off my hamstrings or my calves. It was crazy. And I'm still recovering from that because they are still super tight. And I am thinking that it is because I was just, like so concerned and so scared and like holding all the stress together that my body reacted like that. And I do believe that my hip pain has something to do with that as well, because as I'm saying, it's kind of like an achy pain that especially fires when my leg is behind before doing the step, taking the step. And that's when it kind of stretches a little bit. So I was thinking that it might have to do with that as well. So after my first session of physical therapy this week, we also kind of realized that I might have been overdoing the physical therapy exercises on my own. So my physical therapist changed the routine for the day in between both sessions. He just sent me back to the basic table exercises, moving the legs like a windshield wiper, moving the leg up to like just basically give a little bit of movement in the joint. And by the next session, the pain had improved so much. It was day and night. It was so crazy to see how it changed. I was feeling better. And of course, when you're not feeling pain anymore, when the pain is not as frequent, then your mood also brightens up. So I was feeling better. He said that he's not worried about the hip. He just thinks that this is a hiccup and he believes that we're gonna keep going strong. We realized that we needed to do some changes in the physical therapy program to allow the muscles to heal. I finished this week and this month running again, which was a huge accomplishment for me. I am still in the anti-gravity treadmill with 85% of my body weight. In theory, I would have finished this month running on the actual treadmill and probably already going on the ice. But I guess these things never go according to plan. So here we are, and I appreciate and I'm super grateful for any progress that I have achieved so far. The last thing that I want to say that I have learned during this month and especially this week is that your head plays a huge role in the recovery. And I'm sure that everybody has told you this already, and it is true. And it's so hard because we know that it's true, and it's just very complicated to make this tweak in the brain. To the point that one of my friends said when I sent him the video of me running, he said, see, your body is okay. Your head is the one that needs healing. And he might not be wrong. Our brains can create so many bad scenarios that can bring us down and make us feel more stressed out. The fight or flight mode that releases cortisol and other things in your body that don't help at all. It's something to really consider. So just have that in mind. I don't have a solution. I apologize for that. But be aware that that is something that can definitely play a role in your recovery. I usually finish these videos with hope and expectation of what the next weeks are gonna look like. But today I just want to finish this video by saying that we'll see what happens in the next weeks. I have my 4-month post-op appointment with my surgeon in 2 weeks. So we'll see what he says and he thinks about this recovery. And I also don't want to think about the next milestone or the next goal because I don't want to pressure myself or be disappointed if I don't reach it. I just want to keep feeling better and keep getting healthier and keep working with this. And also, of course, trying to go back to that positive attitude that I was having at the beginning. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm making it all the way till the end. If you are going through this, I feel you. And I really hope that it's going to be okay for all of us. Looking forward to sharing this with you all. That's it for today. Bye-bye.